To ground, beneath the PrideLands trembled before the danger was seen, before fear found a name, before even the wind dared to whisper what was coming. Kion felt it first, a deep, unsettling pulse beneath his paws, like the land itself holding its breath. His ears flattened, his heart pounding not with panic, but with a warning older than memory. This was not a battle for territory, not a clash of rival prides. This was a test, the greatest test of bravery the Lion Guard would ever face, and it was coming straight for everything they loved. The sun had barely risen when the sky darkened unnaturally, clouds folding over one another like clenched fists. Animals across the PrideLands paused, instinctively drawn to the uneasy silence. Birds stopped singing. Herds stood frozen. Sure, even the trees seemed to lean away from the horizon. Kion stood at Pride Rock, scanning the distance, the mark of the guard glowing faintly on his shoulder, restless and uneasy. "They're afraid," Ono said as he circled above, his sharp eyes missing nothing. "Every creature can feel it. Whatever's coming. It's bigger than anything we've faced." Fuli skidded to a stop beside Kion, dust rising around her paws. "Say the word, and I'll scout the borders. But my gut says this won't be something we can outrun." Besht shifted his massive weight, trying to sound calm even as his voice trembled slightly. "We've protected the PrideLands before. We'll do it again." Ride Bunga bounced forward with forced enthusiasm, though his eyes betrayed him. "Yeah. Bravery is kind of our thing. Remember," Kion took a slow breath, steadying himself. "This time is different. I can feel it. Whatever this is, it's testing more than our strength. It's testing our courage." He looked at his team, his family, and nodded. "Lion Guard, to the Outlands. We face this together." The shadows appeared before the enemy did, stretching unnaturally across the plains, swallowing the light inch by inch. From within them came a low, echoing sound. Not a roar, not a growl, but something colder, smarter, calculated. Figures began to emerge. Not animals, not spirits, but living fear shaped into form. Their eyes glowed with a hollow light, and their movements were unnervingly calm. "This doesn't feel like an attack," Fuli whispered. "It feels like a challenge." The leader stepped forward, taller than any lion, its voice smooth and cruel. "Lion Guard, protectors of balance, let us see how brave you truly are." Without warning, the ground split. A wall of darkness surged between the guard and the PrideLands, cutting off escape. Panic rippled through the nearby animals. Cubs cried out. Mothers pulled them close. Kion stepped forward, heart racing but voice strong. "You want to test bravery? You'll have to go through us." The leader's hollow eyes fixed on him. "No. We will go through your fear." The battle erupted instantly. Shadows lunged not with claws, but with whispers, voices slipping into minds, planting doubt. Fuli faltered mid-run, as a voice echoed in her head, reminding her of every time she'd been too slow. Besh staggered as shadows mocked his size, his fear of failing those who depended on him. Ono's winks wavered as illusions blinded his vision. Even Bunga froze as laughter echoed, reminding him of moments when bravery felt like pretending. "Kion!" Bunga shouted, panic breaking through. Kion felt it too. A voice, quiet and devastating, asking if he was truly worthy of the roar, if he could protect everyone without losing them. His legs trembled. The mark burned. "No," Kion growled, forcing himself forward. "You don't decide who we are." He unleashed the roar, but it fractured, weaker than before, scattering shadows but not breaking them. The leader laughed softly. "Power without courage is nothing." The shadows pressed harder. Animals cried out. Fear spread like wildfire. Kion realized then the truth of the test. This enemy wasn't trying to destroy the PrideLands, he was trying to break their spirit. Listen to me, Kion shouted, turning to his team. Bravery isn't about not being afraid. It's about standing even when you are. Fuli shook her head, forcing her legs to move. I'm scared, she admitted. But I'm not stopping. Best planted himself firmly. I don't have to be fearless. I just have to be here. Ono steadied his wings. I can still see what matters. Bunga swallowed hard, then grinned. Okay. I'm terrified. But I'm with you. The shadows recoiled slightly as something shifted. Courage? Not loud. Not flashy. Real? Kion roared again, this time not forcing strength, but drawing it from his team, from the land. Front. The animals watching with hope trembling in their eyes. The roar surged stronger, pushing back the darkness, cracking the enemy's calm facade day. The leader stepped back, voice sharp with anger. This is only the beginning. With a final surge of shadows, the enemy retreated, leaving the ground scarred and the air heavy with unanswered questions. Silence fell, broken only by the sound of breathing, of survival. The PrideLands still stood, but everyone knew this was not victory. Kion looked out over the land, heart heavy. That was just the test, he said quietly. And the real battle hasn't even started. The LionGuard stood beside him, shaken but unbroken, knowing that bravery had been tested, proven, and would be tested again. Next time, the cost would be higher. The second test began without warning, without shadows announcing themselves, without the courtesy of fear arriving slowly. It began with a scream. The sound ripped through the PrideLands at dawn, sharp and desperate, echoing off the rocks like a wound torn open. Kion bolted upright, heart hammering, the mark of the guard blazing before his mind caught up with his body. Around him, the LionGuard stirred instantly, instincts sharpened by the memory of the first test. That came from the eastern gorge, Ono said, already airborne, wings cutting through the cold morning air. Multiple voices. Panic level high. Then we move, Kion said, forcing his fear down into focus. LionGuard, go! The ran hard, the land blurring beneath them, but something felt wrong. There were no shadows, no dark figures waiting. Just the echo of fear bouncing endlessly through the rocks. When they reached the gorge, they found chaos. Animals scattered in every direction, eyes wide, bodies trembling, shouting over one another. They're gone, a zebra cried. They just vanished. Who vanished? Kion demanded. The cubs, another voice sobbed. They were right here, and then the ground swallowed them. The earth trembled beneath their paws, a deep, mocking vibration. The leader's voice rose from everywhere and nowhere at once. Bravery is easy when you stand together. Let us see how you stand when you are divided. The ground split violently. Stone collapsed, dust swallowed the air. Before Kion could react, the LionGuard was torn apart by the land itself, each of them falling into separate chasms as the PrideLands closed over them like a trap. Kion hit hard, pain exploding through his side as darkness swallowed him whole. When he finally stopped sliding, he found himself alone in a vast cavern lit by a faint, eerie glow. The silence was crushing. Kion, a familiar voice whispered. His heart leapt. Dad! Mufasa stood before him, warm and proud, exactly as Kion remembered. Relief flooded his chest, blinding him to caution. I tried to be brave, Kion said desperately. But I don't know if it's enough. Mufasa's expression softened, then slowly shifted into something colder. What if it never is? The illusion shattered violently. Kion reeled as the cavern shook. The leader's laughter echoed. Your courage is loud. Your doubt is louder. Elsewhere fully ran through endless tunnels that collapsed the moment she touched them. No matter how fast she moved, the exit stayed just out of reach. Voices mocked her speed, reminding her of every failure, every moment she hadn't been fast enough to save someone. Or, I am fast enough, she snarled, pushing through burning lungs and shaking legs. I choose to be. Besh stood alone before a massive stone wall, on the other side of which he could hear animals crying for help. No matter how hard he pushed, the wall did not move. The voices told him he was too slow, too gentle, too weak. I don't have to break everything, Besh said through tears. I just have to hold long enough. Ono struggled through blinding darkness where his sight meant nothing, forced to navigate by sound and instinct alone. Panic clawed at him as silence threatened to overwhelm him. I trust my mind, Ono whispered, even when I can't see. Bunga faced the worst test of all. Laughter. Not cruel laughter, but familiar, mocking echoes telling him he was a joke, that bravery was just noise hiding fear. Bunga trembled, then stood tall. Maybe I am scared, he said loudly, but I show up anyway. One by one, they chose courage, not by winning, but by refusing to quit. The cavern shook violently as the illusions cracked. Lights burst through the darkness as the Lion Guard was thrown back onto the surface, gasping, bruised, but alive. Around them, the PrideLands erupted into chaos as the shadows returned in full force, no longer hiding, no longer testing. This ends now, the leader roared, towering over them, darkness stretching across the horizon. Fall, or watch everything you love fall with you. Animals fled. Fires erupted. The land screamed. Kion felt fear rise again, heavier than before. But then he saw it. Animals turning back, standing together. Not because they were fearless, but because they had learned something from the Lion Guard. They're not running, fully breathed. They're standing, Best said in awe. Kion stepped forward, voice steady despite the storm raging inside him. This is our home, and we stand together. The Lion Guard formed their line. No space between them. No doubt allowed through. Kion unleashed the roar, not as a weapon, but as a call. A call answered by thousands of voices, paws, wings, and hooves moving as one. The shadows screamed as unity burned through them. The leader faltered, cracks spreading across its form. No, it hissed. Fear rules everything. Not today, Kion said. With a final surge of courage, the PrideLands pushed back the darkness, breaking it apart, scattering it until nothing remained but silence and smoke. When the dust settled, the land was scarred, but alive. Cubs returned to their parents. Fires died down. The sky cleared. The Lion Guard stood exhausted, leaning on one another, knowing something had changed forever. This wasn't just a victory. It was proof. Bravery wasn't loud roars or fearless hearts. It was choosing to stand together when fear tried to tear them apart. The PrideLands would remember that lesson long after the scars had healed.